You are told to be careful of salt, but do you know, salt is good for your health?
For your entire life, you've been told to limit your salt intake, to avoid salt, to try to eat a low-salt diet. Turns out a lot of us were listening, and now we're suffering from daily symptoms from just not getting enough salt.
For many years on end, a systematically deceptive war has been perpetuated on an essential requirement for biological functions in the human body. This vital requirement is called sodium chloride, popularly referred to as salt. In spite of the indispensable role of salt in our everyday lives, many have paraded a false notion about this God-given treasure, required for the preservation of human lives.
Remember that recommendation to cut salt.
Salt has to be America's favorite flavoring.
You might say the extra ingredient is salt.
But a new medical study.
A recent study is shining light on the amount of sodium Americans eat.
/salt.
Easier said than done.
This is one of those medical stories that people get confused about.
Number one risk for a diet-related death, sodium.
And don't listen to these guys who tell you research has shown. We have found out they've been lying. They've been lying for so long. They don't have any research.
At this point, I think it might be helpful to take a moment and clearly define what salt actually is, in order to better enrich your understanding of how important it is to your health.
Our common salt is composed primarily of sodium chloride, 40% sodium and 60% chloride. Salt is processed from salt mines, or the evaporation of seawater, or other mineral-rich waters. It is mainly used to add flavor to food, or as a food preservative. It preserves food by absorbing water, making the environment too dry to support mold or bacteria.
Salt itself is so essential to the human body that saltiness is one of the 5 classifications of perceptible taste by taste receptors on the tongue. And it's so essential to life in general that it's actually the main mineral constituent of ocean water and a huge part of the Earth's crust, especially underwater where hydrothermal vents in the oceanic crust.
Our bodies need and acquire adequate amounts of salt daily. Salt's the second major constituent next to water in our body. The immune system can't function well without salt. The hormonal system can't function well without salt. And iodine can't work in the body without adequate amounts of salt. So I consider salt one of the basics. I check salt levels on every patient that comes in the door. I can tell you the vast majority are salt deficient.